Well, it's that time of year once again. Fall is upon us, and it's time for pumpkin spice everything. Are you a fan? Pumpkin spice is a very controversial subject. Let's talk about it. Let's make it. Let's use it. Let's do it. Let's go. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Cooking It Real. My name is Kathy, and I'm glad you're with me today in the kitchen. Like I said, pumpkin spice is a very controversial subject. Where do you fall? Do you love it? Do you loathe it? I have friends and family on both sides of the equation, and I may lose some friends because of what we do here today. I hope not. I will come right out and say, I'm in the middle. I'm neutral. I don't love it. I don't get giddy about it, but I don't hate it either. I think it's a delicious blend of warm and comforting spices that trigger so many wonderful memories that we have from our kitchens, from our childhood, from our family, all the different things. But today I'm going to show you how to make your own pumpkin spice blend. You can use it all season long. You can use how much you want. You can put it on whatever you want. Not only am I going to show you how to make the blend, we are going to use it in a recipe, and then later on I am going to give you all the ways that I can think of to use pumpkin spice on a daily basis, on an hourly basis. Let's go. Pumpkin spice is a blend of spices, a blend of 4, sometimes 5 spices, and it's also known sometimes as pumpkin pie spice. Ground cinnamon, ground nutmeg, ground ginger, ground cloves, and sometimes ground allspice. I think today I'm going to add a little bit of allspice. Cinnamon is the big player in this blend. There's more cinnamon than anything else. So here's to make one recipe of it. We need 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, okay? And then 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. Now, I don't have ground nutmeg. We have whole nutmegs that we grind ourselves. I got a little nutmeg grinder here. If you've ever seen, or if you've never seen nutmeg that has been grated, I think I'm putting this close to the camera. Can you see that? Once you grind it down a little bit, it's really cool inside. But anyway, it takes a long time to get enough nutmeg grated, so I did some of it ahead. And this is all you have to do. I put it on a piece of parchment so I can easily get it into a bowl. You grate your own nutmeg, you know that nutmeg freshly grated has a much more pronounced flavor than what you get in the can. So I'm going to give you the amount for the canned nutmeg, and if you're grating your own, I just suggest you use a little bit less. So 1 tablespoon cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, but I'm going to just make that a little bit less than a teaspoon. A scant teaspoon, they might say. Let's see, will this spoon fit in there? Nope. So I need 1 teaspoon of ginger, so I'm gonna have to use my half teaspoon measure because that's what will fit. So 1 and 2, and that is 1 teaspoon of ginger, and I need a half a teaspoon of ground cloves. There we go. And I think for the allspice, I'm going to use a 1/4 teaspoon because allspice has a very pronounced flavor. It's very good. It's also a warm spice. All right, there's your blend right there. And this is going to give you approximately, let's see, I'd say 3 tablespoons maybe, about 3 tablespoons of the mix. So what I would suggest is that we just repeat this process one more time and make ourselves another round. So that's 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 1. 1/2 a teaspoon of ground cloves. There we go. And 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. Now, if you store this properly, which would be in a jar or a container with a tight-fitting lid, if you store it like you store other spices and herbs in a cool, dark place, this pumpkin spice blend could last you for years, actually. It can store easily for years. Now I have I have a good 1/3 of a cup right here. And I'll tell you what, if you have like all your spices in a big container like this, you will save so much money. First of all, if you go to the store and you buy pumpkin pie spice in a container this size, it's probably going to cost you about $5 or $6. If you go to the big stores and you buy cinnamon this size, it's going to cost you about $8. Okay, so 6 for this little bit of stuff all together, 8 for this big thing. So if you get everything, all the different ones, and it's 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, you can make buckets of this stuff. So we've made our blend. That was easy, right? That's all you need to do. Now you know the secret of pumpkin spice. Well, what are we going to do with it? Well, I've got a plan. We are going to make some pumpkin spice muffins with a streusel topping. All right, so let's get started on that. For the streusel topping, the first thing we need is 5 tablespoons of room temperature butter. Got my oven preheating. And we need 1/4 cup of white sugar, 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And you pack the brown sugar always. And let's see, 3/4 of a cup of flour. So I'm using my 1/4 cup measurement. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Now, when you're using pumpkin pie spice, now this recipe just calls for cinnamon, but if you're using pumpkin pie spice in place of, say, a recipe that just calls for cinnamon and nutmeg, or 2 or 3 or 4 of the different things, just add up all the measurements of the separate spices and then use that amount of your pumpkin spice. So I need 2 teaspoons of cinnamon according to the recipe. So I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of my pumpkin spice. So it's even better than cinnamon. It's cinnamon on steroids. Now let's see. Use that spoon. Just kind of blend everything together. What we want to do is, whoops, maybe I needed a little bit of a bigger bowl. I should be using a fork, but that's okay. You can even use your hands if you want to. Mash down the butter and incorporate the dry ingredients. Now see, if it wasn't a mess, then we wouldn't be cooking it real, would we? This is what we're going to sprinkle on top of the muffins before they go into the oven. It's going to give them a crispy, sugary, delicious topping. All right, and we're going to set this off to the side. Give it another little mixy mix before we use it. All right, we start with 1 cup of brown sugar. And just like when we made the streusel topping, we want that brown sugar to be packed. 1 cup brown sugar. Thank you, brown sugar. We need 1/3 of a cup of granulated sugar. 1/3 of white sugar. If you wanted to use coconut sugar, you could surely do that. Let's see, and we need 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, or a neutral oil. This is canola oil. Boop, 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 boop. 1/2 cup. All right. Put on our paddle. Give that a little mix. To the sugar and oil mixture, I added 2 large eggs and 1 egg yolk, 3 tablespoons of full-fat Greek yogurt, you could use sour cream, and a 15-ounce can of pumpkin puree. Not pumpkin pie filling, it has to be pure pumpkin. Then to this mixture, I added 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 3/4 of a teaspoon baking soda, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and 4 teaspoons of pumpkin spice. 2¼ cups of flour. So here's my 1 cup measure. Fluff up this flour a little bit. Give it a 1 and a 2 and a 1/4. Alrighty. And then we mix this just until combined. All right, I'm calling that it, and I'm going to finish it up with my spatula. Scrape down the sides a little bit. And just give it a couple of turns. That's good. You know, if you wanted to, you could add nuts to these muffins. You could add raisins to these muffins or craisins to these muffins. You could even add chocolate chips. It would not be a bad thing. All right, next, I have prepared a muffin tin with muffin liners, and I've sprayed them with some avocado oil, just as extra insurance. What we want to do is fill these muffin tins 3/4 of the way full. You don't have to use cupcake liners if you don't choose to, but just make sure you liberally grease your muffin cups. So you don't want sticky muffins. There we go, that's about 3/4. Now we want to add our streusel topping. Just going to spoon some on the top of each muffin. Quick little stir. Here we go. Okay, these are going into a 350-degree oven for 20 to 25 minutes or until a toothpick inserted into the muffin comes out clean. I would start checking them at 20 minutes. So while we're waiting on those muffins, let's just talk a little bit more about pumpkin spice. But first, let's talk about pumpkins. Look at this adorable thing. Can you see him? Oh, I'm so in love. He's such a sweet little thing. Found him at a farm stand locally. I got one that's just like him, but a little bit bigger. And I just am absolutely in love. Plus, I have my flat guy back there. I think you can see him. Love him too. Got him at the same farm stand. But now I have to show you my true pride and joy. This guy, who you saw at the beginning of the video, is a pumpkin that grew in my yard. Not in my garden and not on purpose. It wasn't planted by me. I don't know. It's a volunteer. It just sprouted up in about, sometime in June, I think. And we didn't know what it was. It was up by the fig tree. And soon it started vining out and it had these huge leaves. And it got 2 pumpkins this size. Isn't that the best? Anyway, I'm going to do a video on using real pumpkin, fresh pumpkin in your recipes. So stay tuned for that. But first, let's talk about pumpkin spice. I have friends and I have relatives who, when Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or whatever the coffee shop in your neighborhood is, brings out their pumpkin spice lattes, everyone goes wild. It's like Christmas in September. Personally, I have never had a pumpkin spice latte. Never. They put pumpkin puree in the coffee. I don't understand that. I just don't. But anyway, how do you use pumpkin spice? What do you like it in? Are you like a latte person? Are you like a pumpkin spice? You want it just in pies. You're just the strict traditionalist. And it's like, if it's not in a pumpkin pie, then I don't want nothing to do with it. There's room for everybody, I think. But I was thinking about all the different ways that you could use this pumpkin spice blend. And I'm going to show it to you one more time, because look at how much I still have left after this recipe. I could make this recipe several times over and still have enough to put in my coffee if I wanted. But you don't have to just limit it to your coffee. You can sprinkle it on your oatmeal in the morning. You could sprinkle it on applesauce or on yogurt, and give everything like that pumpkin spice holiday flavor. If you make banana smoothies for your breakfast or for like an after workout snack, boom, put in a couple of teaspoons of your pumpkin spice. It's good for you. Of course, you can mix it into a pancake batter, waffle batter, that sort of thing. You could make it into muffins like we did, pumpkin bread, pumpkin cake, all kinds of different things. You could put some in if you're making an apple dish, apple strudel, apple muffins, apple pie. You could, instead of just adding cinnamon and sugar, you could add pumpkin pie spice and sugar. Okay, and then another great way, thinking of apple pie or cinnamon sugar, is on buttered toast. Butter your toast, sprinkle a little sugar, sprinkle a little pumpkin pie spice, do it on a bagel or a bagel with cream cheese. Ooh, that's sounding good. You could put it on ice cream. What else? You could sprinkle it on vegetables that you're roasting in the oven, like squash. I mean, pumpkin is a squash. And so you could treat the squash, any squash that you're roasting or baking or whatever, as if it was pumpkin. Sweet potatoes, it would be great on sweet potatoes with a little bit of butter, maybe a little bit of brown sugar if you like your sweet potatoes a little sweeter. Sprinkle some on hot chocolate if you're not a coffee drinker, or in your chai if you're a tea drinker. The possibilities are endless. It's a very versatile little spice blend. Now we just got to wait and see how those muffins turn out. Whoa! Oh my goodness, you guys, look at this. Looks like I overfilled these just a little bit. Ooh, they look glorious, don't they? I think these are going to need more time to bake. Yeah, they're still a little, oh yeah, see? No, definitely going to need more time to bake. This is looking a little better. Let's give them a test. Okay, let's see. Let's get one of you guys. Oh, that's pretty good. Let's try this big fat one. Yeah, I think these are done. All right, I'm going to let them sit in this pan for 10 minutes, and then we will take them out and cool them a little bit more, and then we will taste. Can you smell it? Mmm. Look at that. Beautiful, huh? All right, let's have a little taste. Let's see if this is loaded with pumpkin spices, I think. That's perfect. Now, I do have to say that because I overfilled these muffins, I did have to cook them additional time. All in all, I cooked them for 37 minutes, but I am so pleased with the way they turned out. I am also glad that I used my muffin liners, the paper liners. They came out so beautiful and easy. This is delicious. Please Make pumpkin spice for yourself if you're a fan. Try this recipe and sprinkle pumpkin spice everywhere you go. Thanks for joining me this time, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.